Hello, everyone. Welcome to Three Essential Questions podcast, where we have weekly conversations with New Mexico business owners and nonprofits. I am your host, Pam Myers, and my wonderful, awesome co host is Erica Yoakum. Our guest today is Misty Hillin. Misty is a doctor of health and wellness and owns the name of her company is Today I Am Well. So, welcome, Misty. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, we're delighted to have you here today. Now, Erica, you had a big question.
What is a doctor of health and wellness?
There you go.
So technically, I am a doctor of physical therapy, but I am not working in that field any longer. I am kind of a little bit more of a holistic fascial care practitioner, and I do. I kind of work with the body to help with dysfunction and pain and kind of get people back to moving and have better quality of life.
Define fascial for those of us who don't have a clue what that means.
Oh, yes, of course. I love this topic. So fascia is the connective tissue in your body. And if you think of everything in the body, the muscles, the nerves, the blood vessels, the lymphatic system, all your organs, your bones, everything is literally surrounded by, penetrated by fascia. So you are literally a fascial system. Okay. And with a few other things thrown in there. I feel like that the medical field, they just haven't really caught up yet to how important healthy fascia is for the body. And it's starting to happen. It is starting to happen. People are starting to realize some things about that connective tissue that in grad school, they told us, oh, just scrape that tissue, that connective tissue away, so you can see, the bone.
Sorry. That just made all the hair back of my neck.
I'm just saying that they dismissed it. They've dismissed it all these years. And there are people who have studied it and are studying it and are presenting it and trying to educate the world about fascia and how important it is.
Yeah.
To your health, to everything, your emotional health, your physical health, everything. So
I was just having a conversation earlier about how things change, right? Like, butter is bad, butter is good. Eggs are bad, eggs are good. Cholesterol is bad, cholesterol is good. And we go through these as we learn more. We learn some things that have become outdated. Some ideas have become. We find out and go, no, that's not true. Vitamin D is important. Too much vitamin D, all of it. It's a constant learning thing, and you really have to keep. You just have to keep your mind open and
you do. You do have to keep your mind open. You do have to keep your mind open, but also it's important to remember this. Specific to butter, I would say that there's so many companies in the world trying to sell you stuff. And some of the stuff they try to sell you is the waste from whatever it is that they are, refining or building or whatever. And a lot of that waste has ended up in our food system, in our food supply. Mm-hmm. Right. And so, think about, like, would you rather eat butter or I can't believe it's not butter? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're literally.
Name should have been a clue, right? That's a clue for us.
Exactly. I mean, so I would just say that the most important part about what to eat and what to do to stay healthy and is honestly just doing as many natural things as you can possibly do. Just don't eat processed food and try to get out in nature, put your feet on the ground.
Touch grass. Yeah.
For the nerds
just out there, touch grass. Yeah.
I mean, just anything though, because what we've done is we've become so disconnected from the planet. right? I mean, not to get into this too deep, but it's so true. This is why we're so sick. We're fed what to believe, what to think, what to eat, how to feel, what to wear, what to smell. Okay, I was just talking to someone this morning about scents. Okay, every other commercial on television is about something that has petroleum in it, right? And it's a fake scent. It's a fake scent. Everything everything you clean your house with, everything you clean your clothes with, everything you spray to make it smell better in your house, everything you plug in, right? It's toxic.
Yeah.
It's toxic. And there's so many people who are sick and they don't understand why they're sick. And the doctor, a doctor can't help them. They've been to every specialist. They've done all the blood tests, so it's disheartening, honestly, to have to re-educate people on just being as, how I feel like, not to be nostalgic about the 70s, but I mean, honestly, growing up, we lived in a tiny town, and it was like, we went outside every day and we played, and, it was like, now kids don't even go outside.
Right.
Adults don't even go outside.
Right.
So it's just, yeah.
I felt that. Thank you. I felt
it's
that.
a rabbit hole. Sorry. I'm clearly passionate about, health and wellness. So.
Yeah, you are. And I absolutely love that. And I totally subscribe to everything that you are saying. So what if somebody comes to you and says, okay, I think I've got, I don't know,
fibromyalgia. That is a good one, right? That's a big one.
Good one. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Who, not to make people into clients, but like who's your ideal client? Who's the person that you can help the most? That was a good way to phrase it. Who can
this is interesting because I've just rebranded my business. Okay. And, when you're doing that business plan in your mind, trying to figure out like, okay, what is my target audience? And it's so hard for me because I'm that person that I'm like, oh, I can help anyone that is interested in helping themselves. I mean, and that is a true statement. But I would say that it's primarily women. I mean, not that I'm ever going to turn a man down that wants to, be well and find a better way of life. But I just think that I find that women are very, attracted to this work. Typically it's older women. So I would say, 40s to 60s, even though, again, not turning anyone down, not going to turn anyone away from my services. But, fibromyalgia is a great example because that is a fascial tissue issue, right? I mean, this is another thing. Doctors don't know what it is. They don't get it. They put you in a category. They don't know how to help you. And, the results, it's all in your head. That's right. And, honestly, it's all in your body. It's all in your fascia. And again, when you are improving the health of your fascial tissue, you are getting better blood flow. Okay. That brings blood in, that takes, waste away. Your lymphatic system works better. That is literally helping to get toxins out of your body. Your muscles are going to work better. So this is even good for, athletes who, don't have any medical issues. Okay. They have sore muscles and, they think that foam roller is going to help them. But, honestly, that hurts, first of all. And second of all, why do that to your body when your tissue is literally saying stop? Okay. But there's ways to release that fascial tissue. And honestly, when something is tight, there's a problem somewhere else in the body. So just releasing something willy-nilly, is not a good idea. So, and honestly, that's not really going to work that well anyway. Some people get some relief, but I would just offer that you can get better relief when, you're literally getting more blood flow to your muscles. You're getting more blood flow to your tissues, so, so to kind of go back to the question you asked me, which is, when someone comes to me, we're addressing the whole body, the whole person, the whole situation. What do you do all day? Do you sit all day? Do you commute for long periods of time? Are you, what is obviously a medical history, so we can understand kind of what you've been through already. What have you tried? What are you willing to try? I was a health coach for some time. Yeah. And the other thing is, the other thing is, ask them, do you want to be well? Do you want to get better? Do you want this to stop? Because some people don't.
Mm-hmm.
They will go and they will try to find help somewhere and go to doctors, do all the things. But in a way, it's almost like that's part of their identity. You know what I mean? And it's like that, they're getting care. Someone cares about them. People are helping them. They're giving them attention. So, I mean, ideally, I want someone who wants to move on from their pain and their pain story or their illness story, right? Because I don't make people well. And in fact, no one does, right? You can't go to someone and they tell you they're going to get you better, because you know what? That's not true. You're going to get you better.
Well, there was this one guy
They might
1,000 years ago, but I think he was the last one that could actually do that.
I mean, I'm just saying, they're great practitioners, but
Right.
everyone has, there's other people who have great techniques and they work too. It's just that you have to be committed to it and do all the things. So everything I offer, you still have to do other things. It can't just be just coming to me or just going to your chiropractor or just going to your acupuncturist or whatever.
And then going back and eating a bag of chips or something. Right. Yeah.
Right. So it's like changes over your entire life, and I know this because I did it. I did it for myself. And, so when you overcome these things, you want to empower other people to do the same thing. So honestly, I do one session at a time, just one session at a time. I don't make promises. I don't tell people, that this is going to be the end all be all for them. But I do see changes in people sometimes that are so beautiful because they come to that on their own, and for themselves. And so, I want to facilitate that.
If they're not willing to do it. Has anybody ever said no? When you ask that question, are you willing to do the work and do you want to get healthy? And they say no.
No. Okay. So they don't say no, but I have had people say yes and not really mean it. And here's the other thing that's important to remember is that people show you who they are, right?
Believe them. Right.
That's right, Maya. Thank you, Maya. Okay. But what I'm saying though, is that, you have to pay attention to people's behaviors because people are going to show you who they are. Right. Just by how they behave. And when someone when they're not making the changes, they're not doing the things, then, they're just not ready. And another important thing that I want to relay here is that it's important not to judge that. Right. I mean, this is people's path and, and it's not for me or anyone else to judge that. So it's okay, but I do have a boundary and I will say, hey, I'm not really sure this is helping you. And let's change up your treatment plan, or let me refer you to someone who I think you might, who might be able to help you further along your path. Right. So
yeah,
I kind of release them if they're not, ready to kind of go there.
Boundary.
Right.
Yeah. That would take me a long time to figure out too. Thank you very much. My own business. Yeah.
Yeah. Because another thing about fascial release is that all your emotions, every trauma, everything that's ever happened to you is in your cells. It's in your tissues, right? Your body remembers all of it. So when you go to release stuff that hasn't been released in a long time, or if you get into an area of the body, you've heard of people who go and have a massage and they were assaulted and don't remember it until they are having this massage, right? Have you heard this? It's like muscle memory or body memory or whatever.
Right.
It's the same thing. And so when you are releasing this tissue, this fascial tissue, a lot of stuff comes up. and people have to process it, and it takes some time.
Wow.
Well, that's terrifying.
I know, right? I know it can be terrifying, but listen, when you have a space, you just hold space for people, and and they have a good support system, because that's also important, with the healing journey, grief, anything that you're going through. So,
Wow.
And so how specifically does that treatment work, Misty?
So the two treatments are a little bit different. I also have a neuromuscular kind of treatment that I do, but that's a little less fascial intense. But the fascia blaster is a series of tools that kind of work superficially to deep. So you're going in slowly to the tissues, right? Because sometimes I can just take a brush and I'm just brushing someone's, body, and emotions will happen. I mean, sometimes you can just touch someone and, and they, they have a release. So I have, so there's a bunch of different tools, and they're shaped a little bit differently. And now I'm just kicking myself. I didn't bring any of those to show you, but gosh, but I kind of take my time to just warm up the body, and the nerve endings will kind of get they'll warm up, they'll get used to what's happening, and they kind of get, it's not a numbness, but it's just a tolerance. And the tools get smaller and smaller and pokier and pokier, and just kind of working through layers to warm up that tissue and release what's going on in there.
Yeah.
And then my other technique, Watsu, is an aquatic massage. It's very gentle, but it is technically fascial work, because again, this is like being in the womb, right? Because you're in a warm pool. It's like body temperature pool, and you're being held. It's a very nurturing technique. It's a very nurturing session. And so people are in a pool, you're floating them and you move them around, and I massage them. I do different techniques and stuff in the water, but it's working through those whole fascial lines of the body, and it can absolutely have crazy effects. I mean, I just did a massage last month when I was traveling, and it was a guy who I've known for a while, and he's he's a dude, he was about to go on a hunting trip, and I gave him this massage, and y'all, he just sat at the edge of the pool, like for 10 minutes. That's a long time, almost 10 minutes of just total silence, and the guy just silently cried.
Wow.
Yeah. And I mean, it's beautiful, because this is what needs to happen, right? You've heard the expression, you got to feel it to heal it.
Right. Yeah.
And I just, this is the kind of stuff I like to help people experience, just healing their wounds, healing their trauma, healing their stuff. They don't have to talk to me about it. I'm not a counselor, right? They don't have to say anything to me. They don't have to share any of it. It's for them, but it's just a really cool experience. And obviously I've had all this done, I've had all this training. All the trainings are emotional. Oh my gosh. We are all a mess, we're all, by the end of the week, we're in the floor crying and cuddling, and, because
Rolled up in the fetal position.
Seriously, because we've all just had all this trauma come up in the pool. But really, it's beautiful, and it's a very healing experience.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds intense.
Yeah, it does sound intense, but it sounds really rewarding if that is something that you, if you are dedicated to healing your body. And
yeah.
How does one know when they're ready?
Yeah, good question. There you go.
Some people don't know. They don't know. And in fact, people have come to me and had these experiences without any of this release. So I don't want to scare anyone away by saying, oh, you're going to be so emotional. No, it's just like all the barriers and boundaries and walls and things you've put up energetically in your life. These are the things that begin to melt away when you start to come back to yourself, right? And so, it could happen fast, or it could happen so slow that you don't even notice it. So I've had people in the pool who, just afterwards they're like, wow, that was the most amazing experience. And they're so happy and they leave joyful, right? I mean, there are no tears. And then, and I've had people on the table with fascia blasting that, it truly is about their physical health,
Mhm.
and we're not, again, there's no therapy going on. It's not like we're talking about any of it. So,
Interesting.
so
I've
some
noticed
people-
that as I get older, there are fewer, like when we laugh and we say kids have no filters, right?
Yeah.
And we build up those filters as we go through life. And now I just celebrated 58 and now I'm like, and I get it when I hear older women say you start losing those filters again. Like my ability to care about other people's bullshit has like really
Mhm.
taken a nosedive, right? I mean, I
Totally.
care about people, right?
Same.
But like the whole, I
Yes.
can't, the tearing of the bodice and the ripping out of the hair and stuff. I'm like, really? Y'all got time for that? I
Pull
mean,
yourself together. Come on. Put on your yeah.
yeah. Put on
Exactly.
big girl panties or whatever it is. But it's more like, if you need help, I'll be there. I'll be the first one. I'll drive you there. But don't do the whole, and I don't know what to do. Okay, well, let's figure it out. Let's come up with a plan. I'm a doer too. Like let's do it. Let's
Right.
figure out a way. But
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it's easier as we get easier. I don't know if it's to get through some of those shields and filters and stuff that we've built up as we get older for what you're offering to be more therapeutic, right? Because instead of being so uptight and have so many when you're in your 30s and like you're fully armored for the life for the world, right? And you get
Yes.
older and you go, I don't need that one anymore. I don't need that one anymore. I don't need that one anymore because I don't really give a flying fuck at a rolling donut what this person thinks of me anymore. So, you just like you get rid of all that stuff. Does that make it easier to then break through the crust, the shields that we've put around ourselves?
Absolutely. And I really think that's probably why the demographic is a little skewed
Yeah.
older, because that's when people are searching for, okay, how can my life be better in this way? And yeah, and I am kind of a product of that, honestly. So I feel like, this is what happens. This is what we do, right? We find something that works for us and then we want to share it with the world. So
Right.
I just think that that's why I gravitated towards it. And I'm excited about it because honestly, this is this is like the third career, the third rebranding of the company. I mean, there's a lot of past to get here. And I just feel like now is the time to kind of go out with a positive, awesome, some tools that are going to help heal others.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's kind of yeah, actually I'll tell you a secret, which isn't about to be one, but my deepest desire in this life is to create a wellness movement. I mean, just literally for people. I know this sounds kind of cultish, actually, now that I'm saying it, but I really just want somehow to make a mark in that community on this planet before I go.
Yeah.
And this place, the Land of Enchantment, has just truly been an amazing catalyst for this. I was actually just looking at Facebook memories today. And it was this week, 4 years ago, that we kind of decided that this is where we wanted to land. My wife was grieving, and I took her to my family's home in Las Cruces. And I was just like, this, I want to share this place with you, because this has always been such a precious place to me growing up in and out of New Mexico. We vacationed here, and, family here, and all that. So I brought her here, and she was like, I think I could live here. And so I just started the ball rolling, man. I was like, yes, okay. And so 2.5 years ago, we moved here, and it's just been, I wake up every day and walk outside. First of all, I have thousands of pictures of the sunset and the sunrise from the same spot. I just cannot stop taking pictures of this beautiful place. But also, like, I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful to live here. Every day, I just thank whoever, the stars, my guides, the gods. I don't know who I'm supposed to thank. Myself, I'm not sure, but I'm so grateful, because this is such an amazing place. And I've met such amazing people. And I know I'm supposed to be here.
Where is here? Where are you in this?
I'm in Placitas, but I just mean New Mexico in general. Just, I just love it.
Right.
Just love it.
And the energy for what you do, I mean, this is an ideal location, right?
It seems as though, just you're just, there's a healer on every corner,
Right.
And honestly, I'm joking about that, but I really do think there's some good people here. Some people who are healers or help other people heal, and honestly, I haven't really tapped into that community, to be honest. I haven't really had a chance. There's just been so much, just trying to get us here and move. And we were in a rental, and then we bought, and, so there was just a lot of logistics to figure out before I could even get to trying to rebrand and have a business and whatever. But
and where is it? Do people come to you in Placitas, or do you have a?
Yes, so I do have a home office right now.
Nice.
And we do have a pool in the backyard that's heated, that I can heat when I have sessions. And also there's a pool in Santa Fe, a private indoor small little pool that I can rent, that's actually ideal for this.
Wow.
Especially because I can work all year,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's something you learn in New Mexico. It better be covered.
Oh, it's a learning curve. Curve. I'm telling you, layers. I even had layers on this morning, and boots and everything. And then I was like, oh no, there's no way I'm going to be in this later. Too hot.
Right. Yeah.
Too hot.
So if, before we wrap up, I want to help people understand, like, anybody, can you give, I'm going to put you on the spot, so I apologize but give us a list of, like, things that people could come to you for. I mean, if they are having issues with A, B, C, D, what would that be to help people to kind of identify?
Yeah. Okay. So just specific things that if they're going on, because these are general things, but these are very, very common. So I'm going to say joint dysfunction, pain, all manner of it, and we can explore it. And if I can't help someone, I will absolutely try to find a way that they can get the help they need. But, and I would also say, kind of just a generalized need for inner peace. And I know that sounds crazy, but honestly, I built a labyrinth down the hill. Like I'm like, come to my house and walk my labyrinth and watch the sunset. I mean, like I want to start doing retreats in 2025. So the first one is probably going to be June. I'm calling it the Sisterhood Retreat, but I want to start doing some retreats. And incidentally, I'm going to need some hookups on casitas locally because, because I really do want to offer this kind of thing. I feel like this is so important. I have a friend locally that does sound baths. You know, I could have people float in the pool. We could do a sound bath. I mean, wouldn't that be fantastic? Yoga by the pool, things like that. So, but definitely pain and joint dysfunction, absolutely. And then honestly, just relaxation. I mean, I can give you a relaxing massage and a facial, whatever, you know, just, it doesn't have to include the intensity of fascial release.
So if people, go ahead, Erica was going to
say, so you can choose your intensity level.
Right.
Yes,
you don't have to go all the way up to 11. You can keep it down and, you know,
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So if people want to find you, then where do they go?
So my website's the best way, because you can contact me, it'll email me, it'll message me. I get it right away. So todayimwell.com, and there's a contact form, and it kind of gives you a little more info. The website is always in progress. I mean, y'all know this with marketing.
It's a great website. It's a great website.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, there'll be, you know, an announcements and things like that. And I also actually have a Instagram. You can find me on Instagram, Today I'm Well. And then I have a private Facebook group, only because it's private, because, you know, sometimes people share stories in there, and I just didn't want that to be public. But it's Today I'm Well, and you'll see my logo on the page. So.
Awesome.
I just thought that was a really cool shirt. I didn't even realize until you just said that was your logo.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Well, Misty, thank you so much.
Thank y'all so much. Oh my gosh, what an honor. I've watched all the podcasts, and I'm just like, oh, look at all these amazing people. I love it.
Land of enchantment. You know, yeah, we got some pretty cool folk around. Yeah.
We do. Yep. And we like to have fun and be entertaining at the same time. But give people information that can help them, and then support businesses and nonprofits. It's, I don't know. We both feel passionate about it. So thank you for being
great. Thank you so much. Yes, that's awesome.
And thank you everybody for listening. Check out Misty, todayimwell.com.
Thank you.